They don't need attendance plastic.
Okay, everyone. Well, that's pretty sad, isn't it? So I have Thor here tonight with us. This is our turtle at Discovery. He is not a sea turtle, but I wanted to at least bring him along. Hold on 1 second. Play the next video. All right, I think I got it. So this is Thor. This is it's an actual a box turtle. It's a land turtle, but I wanted to at least bring him along and share him with you. He is around 55 years old, and he is at our education center on Central Avenue. He is a rescue, so he's actually from down south. So basically someone grabbed him out of his environment and brought him back to Oshkosh, and he either got out of his pen or someone just got tired of taking care of him and thought, hey, we have turtles, we can release him here, he'll be okay. When in reality, no, not so much. So he was found by these two, they must have been grade school kids, and they brought him to someone who dropped him at a turtle rescue foundation in Oshkosh. And so when I started Discovery, I was looking around for different animals to bring in for educational purposes. And I came across Thor, and because he's an old man, he does not get along with other animals. So the turtle rescue place actually put him in with two females, and yeah, the females came out a little bloody, so he had to be by himself. So he's perfect with us because he's the only turtle we have. So come on down and see him anytime you want. He's with us. He loves worms and raspberries and all sorts of fruits and vegetables. So there's that. I'm gonna put him back.
Comments online.
Okay.
Very sad.
Oh yes, the turtle. Yes, very sad. So who drinks this? Or water out of plastic bottles? What do you think happens to these bottles when we throw them away in the trash? They go to the landfill? But do you think that they actually ever go away? Do you think it actually ever really disintegrates? This takes forever to actually disintegrate. So when you put something in the trash, like I said, it goes to the landfill. When we burn fuel, we release toxins and gases into the air. And when we flush down our drains, it goes to the river, it goes to the streams. And where do all the rivers and streams go? They go to the ocean, whether we think it does or not. So I have this little map that I have, and I hope it's not backwards for you guys. Is it good? Okay, good. So, yep, we're up here in the upper Mississippi. So whatever we flush in our drains or whatever's in the landfill that might get blown out by wind currents or taken out by birds and dropped somewhere near a river, it eventually gets all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, which creates the hypoxic zone. So the hypoxic zone is an area that is completely void of any oxygen. So nothing basically lives there. And that's becoming more prevalent throughout all the world's oceans. So I want to show you. So we're going to talk a little bit about microplastics. They come from bigger plastics, obviously. So whatever we put out is going to break down eventually. So microplastics, I don't know if you can see this, probably not. But if you have a rule at home that has millimeters on it, or even centimeters. Microplastics are considered 5 millimeters or smaller in diameter, so really, really tiny, tiny, probably half the size of a sesame grain. So if you know, like a sesame seed, it's about half that size. All right. Ingestion of these little particles, just like with all the plastics that we have in the world, is really detrimental to land animals, even humans or marine animals or anything like that. So we are actually in the plastic age. So in the 1940s, people fantasized about clean and efficient future world where we could just create everything out of plastic. They had no idea that it was so bad for the environment. So plastic was actually developed in the 1900s, but it's rapidly creating this plastisphere around the earth, and it's a fragmented layer that is just surrounding all of us, both the oceans and the land. So I want to talk to you a little bit about a degradation, and how should I do this? I brought a whole bunch of little things to look at. I'm not sure if you got the email. We have a form that you can fill out. So this side is the item, and then this side is going to be the degradation time frame. So basically a trash timeline. And I think what I'll do is I'll just pick one up at a time. And if you guys have it, or you can just take a piece of paper and write it down, and we'll kind of go through different things. So here we have a cotton t-shirt. So if you want to write that down, we'll talk about the degradation timeline for that. And I have about 20 things on the table. So if you want to list them out, 1 through 20, you can do that. So cotton t-shirt. And then I have a tin can. And if I'm going too fast, please let me know. I see the chat here. So if I can bring it up. Okay, so tin can. And then we have, it's not really wool, but wool socks. It's kind of a, you know, pseudo wool, but you can write down wool socks. And then we have foam. So these egg cartons that you get at Walmart, which I actually like to go to Aldi's because they have the cardboard ones that biodegrade a lot easier. And then we have plastic lids. So plastic lids from the plastic bottles that we all drink. So plastic lids. Aluminum can. If you guys drink any drinks out of any pops or soda or anything, there's that. And the styrofoam cups you get when you get coffee, foam, some more foam, even though they say they're recyclable. And then the plastic cups you get when you go through the drive-through or any of the restaurants in town to get a to-go drink, the plastic cups. Plastic bag, just a regular plastic bag from the grocery store. I have a gum wrapper. And I'm not sure if you're running out of room yet or not, so. And then a piece of wood. So it's actually just a paint stirrer, but it's a quick piece of wood that I grabbed to show you guys. And then I have a glass bottle. I hope I'm not going too fast. I have a paper towel roll, so cardboard. Gross cigarette butts. They do take a while to decompose. Here's the plastic holder for pop cans or for these bottles, which I absolutely hate these because they're so bad for birds too. I have a leather shoe because we all know we've seen shoes washing up on the beaches from who knows where, the other side of the world probably. And a newspaper, and we're almost done, I promise. Newspaper. And I think that's, oh, there's a couple more. Fishing line. This is a big, huge thing along the coastline because fishermen will just drop their fishing line where they're at. They'll drop their nets and everything. It is a huge problem, especially out in the Pacific garbage patch, in all the gyres and all the patches. Nylon fabric, so kind of like the the fabric that you put over your trailer if you're transporting something. And then the last thing I have is orange or banana peels. This could also be an apple core. Anything that's, you know, you've just eaten. So, oh, I have one more. Sorry guys, if there's any men out there, sanitary napkin. It was actually supposed to be a diaper, but I didn't have any because I don't have kids. So yes, so plastic like this. So now what we're gonna do, I'd like you to go through and I'll hold up some time frames and I want you to kind of put them in there, what you think, you know, they may take to degrade. And then we'll go through it all. I have a printout here I'll hold up and you guys can see if you match things up correctly. So the first one is up to 2 years. So this is how long something would take to degrade, up to 2 years. And you can just write that off to the side if you want, and then I'll give you a few minutes to kind of put things in place. And the next one is 1 to 5 years. This is so weird talking to nobody. And the next one is 5 years. I like to kind of see faces. See if they're smiling or not. Next one is 10 to 20 years. Next one, 30 to 40 years. Okay. Next one is 50 years. There's just a few more. So 50 years. This one is 80 to 100 years. And then 100 years. And then 1 million years. There's only one thing in that table that I gave you that's 1 million years. Let's see, I hope you can get it. It's pretty cool actually, but. All right, guys, so I'm gonna give you like 5 minutes to kind of list out what you think are the time frames, and then we'll be back, okay? If you have any questions, I'm right here. All right, guys, so what did you put for the 1 million years? Can anybody type it in chat and let me know? See if you got it right. Close. Not really, but tin cans are 50 years. What's harder than the tin can? How about the glass jar? So this is actually natural. It's made from sand, I think, but this actually takes 1 million years to decompose. So there's that. All right, what'd you guys get for 50 years besides the tin can? Anybody?
Aluminum.
Oh, the aluminum can. Let me double check. Nope. Aluminum takes longer. So I didn't give you the number for aluminum, but it actually is 200 years. So, but good guess. So 50 years, like you said, was the tin can. And then the foam, actually, if this was a foam buoy that you found out in the ocean or you had on your boat, that would take 50 years to also decompose. Anything else? What else do you guys think decomposes in 50 years? Anybody guess? I promise I won't like get mad.
Styrofoam cup.
Yes, yay, we have a winner. Yes, styrofoam cup is one of them. Anything else? There is one more thing. These nasty little buggers take 50 years to decompose. So if they're floating around in the ocean, and I don't know if anybody's seen the pictures where they get stuck around like a baby turtle, he gets in there, and then as he grows, it kind of grows with him. It doesn't rip apart, but it's like back in the days when we had a corset around our waist, it shrinks the middle of his body. So it's like an H shape in a way, and it really hurts their internal organs. So a lot of times the turtles don't survive when they get caught up in these. So that's why you should always clip them. And also birds get their neck stuck in them and it's not good either. All right, what else? Oh, this I didn't really give you either, but this takes 6 weeks. So this is actually pretty quick. This is the newspaper. I do want to show you something else too. So this is actually PLA. It is used for 3D printers and it is biodegradable. It only takes a couple weeks, but it is really, really strong. This didn't turn out, but I thought it looked cool with the starfish. It looks like a net it's caught in, so we kept it. So, but this biodegrades very quickly in a couple weeks. It's a healthy plastic, let's put it that way. Yes, it is. It's made from corn. Okay, what do you think about cigarette butts? The nastiest thing out there practically. What do you think about that? How many years do you think? No, quicker, faster, much faster. Anybody else have a guess? Leslie's making all the guesses here. Anybody else? She's being brave. 10, actually 1 to 5 years. So 1 to 5 years that will be. What about the cardboard? What'd you guys come up? Actually, I didn't give you the number. This is actually 2 months. So 2 months for that. So you can see that there's a wide range of degradation for the trash that we just throw out. Fishing line, this is 600 years. So can you imagine this floating around the ocean for 600 years, getting stuck? There's, I don't know if you've seen the photos out there. I actually rescued a dolphin that had it wrapped around its beak and it couldn't eat. So it's a good thing that the dolphin washed up and luckily we were able to rehab it. But I mean, this stuff is killer. It's awful for the ocean. And this will be the last one that I show you. This is like the most important thing. The plastic bags. So how long do you guys think this takes to degrade? And I did give you this number. This is like the worst thing, one of the worst things in the world. Anybody have a guess? So this will actually be 10 to 20 years. So if you can imagine this thing floating around in the ocean, what does it kind of look like to you? I don't know if you can really see it too well, but it looks like a food for an animal. So just pretend it's floating. What does it kind of look like to you? Floating and bobbing in the ocean? Yep, exactly, jellyfish. Yep. And so sea turtles who eat jellyfish, they end up eating the plastic bag and it kills them because it either gets stuck in their digestion or they inhale it and they suffocate. So yeah, it's horrible. Okay, so I'm going to show you the chart that I have. You can see it. And I think it was emailed to you also. And I hope it's not backwards. No, it's good. So you can kind of match up with what you have. And there are some numbers that are different because I added some things in. So to give you more of an idea how much trash really does hurt. All right, so if you need that, let us know and we can email it out to you again. So like I said, the byproducts of plastic and plastic itself, it finds itself first in the landfill, and then, it's degraded by sunlight, or else it's, taken out of the system and put into the ocean. So it's bad. Has anybody ever heard of the Great Garbage Patch? Anybody? The Great Garbage Patch? Yes, good. So each of the gyres in the oceans now have a garbage patch. So that is where garbage, like I had mentioned earlier, if birds grab it and take it to a stream and it floats down, goes down the Mississippi River, goes out to the Gulf of Mexico, it'll eventually end up in a garbage patch. Or if it just goes off the coast of Oregon or California, it'll eventually end up in the garbage patch at some point. It may take 100 years to get out there, but because plastic lasts so long, it's still going to be in the garbage patch. So there are other ways that it's not just all humans. Storms can wash things out. If anybody has ever been in a hurricane where the tides have come in and gone back out, it just basically cleans the beach up and cleans out everything. Tornadoes, hurricanes. I've been in hurricanes when I lived in Puerto Rico, and it just creates a whole mess of everything. It washes everything out. So there's that. And then, of course, the boats out in the ocean, they like to dump their garbage in the ocean. And there's not really any law that says that they can't. So they do. There's been a lot of legal backlash on them in the last decade to try and, get them to stop. So we're hoping that happens. So with that, I want to show you something else. So this is actually the marine food chain. Not necessarily just microplastics, but when microplastics are so small, they get ingested into fish. And then a bigger fish eats that fish. And then a bigger fish eats that fish. And then a shark eats that fish. And then who catches the shark? Humans do. So it all comes back to haunt us. So that's why we want to stop throwing stuff in the ocean, stop the plastics, stop everything, because it eventually comes back to haunt us. And that is actually called bioaccumulation. So it starts off in one little fish that eats a piece of plastic, and it accumulates more because that bigger fish, so say that little fish has some plastic in it, well, that bigger fish is going to need to eat like 10 of the little fish. So it bioaccumulates in that big fish's body. And then we go out and catch that fish and eat it, and we just got that plastic and those chemicals into our body. So it's a very destructive wheel, basically. So we need to be the ones that stop it. Does anybody have any questions yet? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. So I have a question for you guys, a couple questions actually. So what plastics do you actually dispose of on a daily basis? So think about it for a few minutes, type it in the chat, let me know what kind of plastics you dispose of on a daily basis. So I know when I go through McDonald's, I specifically ask for no straws. I have a metal straw, and right here, I have a reusable straw. So I don't have to use those single-use plastics. And then we also, actually I sell this at Discovery, so I grabbed it. These are biodegradable straws, and these are made out of corn. So sandwich bags, food packaging, yep. And I recycle all my sandwich bags. I wash them out and reuse them until they have holes in them, really. So, but plastic bags from frozen foods, yep. I actually have gone to canned food or canned vegetables instead of buying the frozen ones, which are probably tasting better. But instead of buying the frozen ones in the plastic bags, yep. Anything else you guys dispose of? What about you order from Amazon and it's got tape on it? You dispose of that packaging, right? Dental floss. Anybody use dental floss? I hope your dentist will be very happy. Dental floss is just as bad, especially, you know, if a bird eats the dental floss. I mean, not that I'm saying not to use it, but it'll get stuck in its throat maybe, or lodged somewhere in its intestines, wrapped around something. Yep, it is. It's those little things that a lot of people don't think of. And, you know, that's one reason we want to do this little program, just to kind of get a few people thinking. It all takes, you know, it just takes one person to start thinking that way. Yep, it's tough. Yep. Ziploc bags, we said. How about candy wrappers? I think, did I show you the gum wrapper? Yep. Gum wrappers. These take a while to decompose because they're made out of, I don't know, aluminum or something, and plastic. So yeah, those take a while to decompose too. So I have a sheet here for you to think about. I want you to think about 3 different ways that your life may be different if we didn't have plastic. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to think about that. So 3 ways that your life may be different without plastic, without the benefits of plastic. So go and type it in the chat if you think of anything.
Can you talk about how long it takes for diapers to break down?
Let me look. Yep, diapers take 450 years. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. All right, so who's got an answer? How would your life be affected if we didn't have plastic? I mean, they survived in the 1800s. They didn't have plastic back then, but things were a lot different back then too. Anybody? Less garbage, yep. Yep, so at Discovery, we actually sell some container, well, not containers, they're the beeswax wraps. So you can wrap them up, wrap your sandwich up in that instead of a sandwich bag. We also have beeswax wrap sandwich, or what do you call it? To-go carriers that you can actually put your sandwich in, and apple and whatever you want. Yep, lots of everyday items are always plastic, unfortunately. Yep, seatbelts, cars, coffee creamer, ketchup, mustard. Yeah, you have to make it from scratch, right? That's one thing I'd like to learn. I mean, I want to make my own mayonnaise because we go through mayonnaise like crazy. And my husband's always buying it. I'm like, let's make it. Let's figure out how to make it in Homestead. But it's, you know, who has time nowadays? We're so much busier than we used to be even 50 years ago, I think. So good. Okay, so last thing I have for you guys. I want you to think of one thing that's plastic that you use every day that you can maybe use something else instead. Think of an alternative way to use that item. Like I said, like I have a metal straw. So when I go to McDonald's and get my coffee, my iced coffee, not hot coffee. When I get the iced coffee, I say, no straw, no straw. I wish, more restaurants would ask if we actually want a straw instead of me having to tell them, I don't want any plasticware. I don't want any plastic straws. So anybody have something that they could live without that's plastic? Yeah. Well, here, I'll give you a few ideas here. So,
We have one suggestion.
oh,
Add milk so we can rinse and dry and it's like
yep. So what we do, we get the bag milk too, and we actually, it's not really recycling it, but we put it on the bottom of, actually my mom and dad started this. They put it on the bottom of the paper bag that's in the trash. So nothing leaks out. So at least it's being repurposed, although it's still going to landfill. So yeah, don't tell. So how about a bamboo toothbrush instead of a regular toothbrush? So that's less plastic. This is all bamboo. It's sustainable. Bamboo grows very fast and it is sort of like a weed. So this is a very sustainable and less plastic than a regular toothbrush. Reusable water bottle. Do you guys do this instead of buying the bottled water? I know it's kind of hard sometimes if you live in the city and the water tastes horrible, or if you don't have a filtration system. But the reusable bottles are great.
your comments.
Reusable, okay. Makeup wipes. So Leslie, do you wash them every night then? The reusable makeup wipes? We actually sell little makeup wipes too. They're crocheted and you can use them to take off your makeup and everything. Oh, cool. Good. That's awesome. Barb, so I'm not sure about all that. I would love to know about grants for innovations like that, because that's always fun to get involved with. I do know that they're working on scientific ways of decreasing the garbage patch in all the gyres, whether it's through a boat. It's a lot of work. There are companies out there that are using towing mechanisms to clean up the garbage patch. But the problem is they have found an aluminum can all the way down at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. So we're not going to get down that far to clean everything up, but yeah, they're working on it. It's just that we need to curb what we're doing right now a little better than we have been, I think. So, okay. Do I have, I don't have one with me. So instead of using this at the store, right? What do you guys use? Or do you use plastic bags? And I forgot to bring my, do you guys use a reusable grocery tote or a bag? That's one way we can all do that. Reusable coffee cups, just like with this. Yep. Awesome. The mesh produce bags. Yep. Those are great. I have one and I keep forgetting to take it with me, but I don't use the plastic bags anyway. So I just throw it in my cart and wash it when I get home. A foldable crate. Oh, nice. Very nice. Awesome. All right. So we already did metal straws, right? So one metal straw instead of 540 plastic straws. And that's with 326 million people in the US. So metal straws are awesome. You can use reusable coffee filters. They sell them in the store. And then I don't think I brought a cloth towel, but you can use a cloth towel instead of paper towels. And I don't know, my dad was a farmer, so he had a handkerchief instead of using cleaning scissors all the time. And yeah, it gets a little gross. He'd probably kill me if he knew I was talking about him, but so that's about all I have for you guys right now. Do you have any questions that I can hopefully answer for you, or anything I didn't really cover that you'd like to hear a little more about? We can always do another session later on, if there are certain things that you really want to know about. I can talk ocean stuff all night, but I think she wants to go home at some point. So if you have any questions, throw them up there and we'll see if I can answer them. Yes, so we have another video to show you. This one is Midway Atoll. So this is, it's a very sad video, but it really shows you how plastic is so harmful to animals, even out in the middle of the ocean. So why don't I show that? And then if you guys have anything afterwards, then you can definitely ask me questions.
We have the courage to face the realities of our time. Allow ourselves to feel deeply enough that it transforms us and our future. Come with me on a journey through the eye of beauty. Across an ocean of grief. And beyond.
shut that off real quick. All right. So as you can see, our plastic really affects everything out there. That actually was just an excerpt from that gentleman's movie that he made. So you can go to that website and hopefully the whole movie is there. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but this I came across this video when I was doing my PhD in Florida, and it's heartbreaking. I tear up every time I see it because I just want to save everybody, and I can't, but I can educate, and hopefully somebody listens, at least one person. Did anybody, okay, laws that are starting. So yes, so I want to tell you, microplastics, microbeads, they come in like lotion and cleanser, toothpaste, all sorts of things like that. There are laws being enacted that help clean and put restrictions on beads and that in those types of things. And then there was something else I was going to tell you. So with the Clean Water Act, that also helps with keeping trash out of the system. There's a whole nother lecture that we could talk about wastewater treatment plants. That's something a lot. We would have to have someone come in here and talk about that. It's really interesting. I did a tour when I was in Florida, and they go to so much work to clean the water, but it's still, you can't get everything, unfortunately, but they do a lot of work. So one thing I did want to tell you about plastics, you saw the little baby hatching out of its egg. There's a lot of hormone disrupting chemicals in plastic. And so when the bird does eat it, the eggs that come out are really, really thin, and generally the babies don't survive. They may survive to birth, they may not survive to birth, but once they hatch, they may not survive either because the mother already has those chemicals in her body. And it bioaccumulates, like I talked earlier, bioaccumulates into the babies, and then they don't survive. So, or they may not be able to reproduce later on. So plastic chemicals are very, very bad. Okay, anything else you guys want to know about that I can maybe answer, or we can do another session sometime? Well, anyways, if you guys keep messaging or email the library, they can certainly contact me if there's anything else that you're wondering. But thank you all so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. So I wasn't talking just to a screen. It was fun. I hope you guys had fun too. So thank you. Bye. You're welcome.